Buenas tardes. Me voy a poner una versión de eso en español en YouTube pronto. Gracias. Hi, welcome. It would be insane for me to start the show without addressing what's going on in our world right now. We've all been through a lot these days. I mean, truly, a lot. Protests, coronavirus, pick a thing. I mean, 235 Black people have been shot to death by the police in our country this year. It's July. 235. That's so many names, it'd take me the entire show just to say all of them. I even had to wait until today to write this episode because more people have died at the hands of the police since I edited this last week. More people are dying from coronavirus. Cities are being shut down. We've also seen a huge resurgence of the Me Too movement and with Native Americans' rights in the US. This is a lot. I know it's a lot. So we're going to go over it all at the end. For now, I want to bring you some joy. I want to offer like a respite, not a break, because continuing to fight is what we need right now. We need momentum. So this will be a very special episode of The Vivian Show. It'll be a very special episode. Sorry, I'm using a prompter for the first time and I'm running it myself. We've decided to call this episode X, if you will. Originally, our first show was scheduled for June. We had some fun recorded bits, other fun things that we shot from before the protests began. But we felt it was only right to put that on pause while the world was watching other things. We won't be showing those things yet. That's all coming back in August. And then the first Monday of every month until my landlord realizes I've drilled 1 billion holes through my walls to do a live show in my room. I want to take a quick second to thank my production team, Shane, Miju, Tiet, and Miles for being super awesome and for their ability to literally change on a dime. Like I said, tonight we're providing space, just space. No Vivian show, no dress, just communication with a very special guest, my good friend Kathryn Henson, all the way from Australia, and then some much needed joy from comedian Anthony Desamito. Real quick though, defund the police, Black Lives Matter, we need to find our missing Indigenous women and children, trans people are people, abolish ICE, I see you all, but more on that later. Now, back to our irregularly scheduled programming. We are live and we're online and is always free. So although this is a special episode, you can still tip us at The Vivian Show on our Venmo. That's at The Vivian Show. Feel free to wait till the end of the show. Don't leave me. Just, do it at the end. Also, if you want to just do it on the side screen and come back real quick, that's fine too. Tonight, we'll be donating all the tips to the Black Hills Legal Defense Fund to bail out tribal leaders who were arrested on Friday for peacefully protesting the coronavirus open air market Trump set in front of that mountain that KKK guy built for some slave-owning rapists. More on that later. I'm sorry. We're going to have more on that later. But for now, just donate, or wait till the end of the show and donate. All right. Are you guys ready for a little bit of a break? A little bit of a respite? Yeah? All right, everyone. I have a very special guest coming up next, and she's coming all the way from Melbourne, Australia. No, she's not from there, though. Oh, surprise. She recently killed at the 2019 Edinburgh Fringe Festival with her stand-up show, and you can listen to her podcast, This American Irish Life, on iTunes. You guys, Kathryn Henson. I guess
Hello.
I'll just clap.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, just clap me in. And you keep promising them respite, but I don't know if talking to me right now is going to do that, We'll
that'll come later.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's like a respite, not a break. And so part of enjoying communicating with friends is also still learning, about what's going on. And There's a lot going on over in Henson town.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we just need to we need to do like a prologue quick. It's like, meanwhile, Kathryn Henson has been, or like a previously on, like, can you give us like the quick, the log line?
I flew to Australia in March I was touring in Sydney, and then I was supposed to do the Melbourne Comedy Festival and the Sydney Comedy Festival. And while I was here, the coronavirus really kicked off. Basically by March 18th, everything was locked down. And my boyfriend at the time also was coming over to do the festival, so he also flew over here. The festival got canceled and our flights got canceled, so we ended up here. And at that time, that seemed like, Australia is like not as bad. And like even now it's like technically not as bad, but
True.
like as like America, like if you just do a
Oh yeah,
comparison.
it's bad here. It's pretty bad
And
here.
probably just overall, like, well, as a country, I don't know, debatable. But like basically since you and I booked to do this, like
Yeah, it's been over a month, everybody, just to remind everyone. We were supposed to do this
yeah.
in June.
Yeah. So, I've had like some personal stuff happen with my apartment in New York because, I'm not supposed to be here right now. So I had
Yeah.
to deal with a bunch of, you really find out like, one, who your friends are, and, just two, like, I don't know how much you can actually handle. I got married here, which was a nice thing. So I try to like
Yes.
think about that. Thank you. Yeah.
Kathryn got married. Congratulations. Which, by
Thanks.
the way, thanks to COVID, I got to watch live and online, and it was
Yeah.
lovely. I will say, I
Thanks.
don't think I would have been able to do that. So there's the silver lining there.
Yeah, honestly, it was great. Like we didn't our moms watched, they were done within the first 20 minutes. I was like high on ketamine within the first hour. The whole thing
Yeah.
was wrapped up by 9 p.m.
Yeah.
and everybody was in bed. So it was
My
great. It was like,
sister, I was going to say, my sister graduated on Zoom, and it also got like wrapped up real quick. Like,
yeah. You're like nobody wants to really be here that much longer. Like people were drunk and puking by 9 p.m. The whole thing was done. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, we
yeah.
had the wedding. Like, so that was pretty cool. And it seemed like Australia was, it's like everything's going to kind of go back to normal, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Um, Relatively quickly compared to America or the UK, where like ultimately I need to end up. The guy I married, he's Irish. So I'm, I'm going to the UK. And what has since happened is I happen to be in the only part of Australia where there is an outbreak right now. And as a
Yeah. And this,
result, yeah, all the other states, the borders were shut for a while, and then the border to Victoria, where I am in Melbourne, and New South Wales, where Sydney is, not to, but I don't even know where the fuck I am. So I'm learning geography.
Australia is
Um,
huge. Yeah. If folks, if
yeah,
you don't know, there's huge states. The cities are gigantic. Most people think it's just like a rock and then Melbourne, but there's Australia is gigantic. It's like
yeah,
the size of the United States.
it's wild. Like when this started, like my Mark, that's my husband, his brother's in Western Australia. We had wanted to ultimately go there, but he got here and had to, self quarantine, and they
Mm.
shut the borders before we could even leave.
That'd be
And
like if someone shut the borders to California, right? Which
yeah,
some argue like should have done it, but like it's
right.
become that bad that they're taking these precautions, which honestly might be a good idea, Like why
Yeah.
maybe we should do that here.
Well, so like, things seem to be fine enough. Like they weren't really recording new cases and everything like opened up. But then, essentially some shit happened. And within the last week, where I am specifically, like the suburbs around it's sort of like it's closing in. And as a result, New
Oh
South
God.
Wales, as of midnight tonight, like has reshut their border. Basically, everybody's like, ew, like we are the dirty people now. And
Gross. Yeah.
um, just like as a
Wow.
side note, I've been in winter since November. Like it's not warm here. It's cold.
Oh
It's
God, that's
cold. It's
right.
raining.
You
Yeah.
missed your entire season. You should be taking some vitamin D or something. Are you feeling the effects of that?
I have pretty much the way I feel right now, I can equate to like three other times in my life. One of those times I was like sent away to a Mormon therapeutic boarding school when I was 15.
Sounds normal
The
and
other
fine.
time I was quitting crystal meth, and the other time I was like coping with the fact I had recently been to jail. So I'm pretty much like in that
Mm,
headspace right now. Because,
mm.
when we look at also like, so we had kind of made a plan, and the plan as of Sunday, we were
You and
like in,
Mark, right? Your new
yeah,
husband, Mark.
we were like in 2 weeks we're gonna leave where we are, because it's been like an aimless experience. He's been working, which is good, but
Yeah,
there's like things that come along with that
I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
can't really,
It's been
whatever
so
it's
hard on the other side of it to be like, I guess my job doesn't exist anymore. Like I feel like those guys who got like pushed out of the factories when like Chevy installed all those robots, you know, like I feel like as entertainers, that's us. Like they don't need us anymore. You know, it's so, I mean, I guess people do, but the experience isn't the same. Like even right now, there might be 1,000 people watching, but I can't see them. I can't hear them. I have no idea, you know, and it sucks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, well, it's like I came from like a very independent life, like where I've had my own apartment in New York for 15 years, and I was working all day every day.
Yeah. And I was going to say, we should tell folks a little bit of your background. Kathryn and I met in New York doing comedy together. And Kathryn has this amazing ability to make, I think, literally like any audience feel comfortable where they are. Cause I feel like you're called like the late night queen. And she'll just like come into a bar and be like, what's your fucking problem? And then just like make the whole room laugh. Because Kathryn, I love that you're just so vulnerable about what goes on with your own life. Like just now, you rattled off 3 things that most people might keep to themselves till the grave. But I always love that how raw you are. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I miss, I mean, I miss doing comedy, obviously.
Of course.
But
yeah.
But I mean, I'm living in somebody else's home. This is not my home. We're paying them rent, but like, they work from home. I can't like move about the space freely. I have so it's like I'm experiencing what everybody's experiencing, except I'm not even doing it in my own like space,
Yeah. Like I think I remember you saying something about how like you don't even have comfy clothes.
I don't have warm clothes. I've had to buy, and I'll tell you, I don't need clothes. And like, like I have clothes in New York, but like, this isn't supposed to be like a list of my grievances, but like on June 1st, the guy renting my room, who was a friend of mine, was like, I can't pay you rent. And then, and then we had to kind of like covertly get him out because he was implying he was going to squat. And then from that time, after getting him out, I had to move all of my shit into storage from Australia in New York and find a new renter. And my roommate, who's a nice guy, is very like, this is kind of an American attitude I've noticed. It's kind of like, I'm not going to be unhelpful, but I'm not going to be helpful.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to stand here and watch all of this happen.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So I, dealt with that, and then I'm dealing with like what everybody else is dealing with. But then it's also like, I'm in Australia. I don't know anybody here. I mean, I know a couple comics, but we haven't gotten it. I fortunately got to do a live show the other day, but then I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, this was booked, but now this is happening here. So I'm like,
how did that even work?
It's so funny. They were like, we have social distancing at these tables. They're like, yeah, it's, this is what it looks like. But I was like, this is better than most rooms in New York, like right now. So if this is your like bad room, like I'll do this room all the time.
I've done many socially distant rooms before late at night. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is fine. They're breathing, and there's, more than 3 of them. So like, I think that, the capacity, they were allowed to have like 15 people in the room or something like that, 16 people.
And then everyone had to wear a mask?
No.
What?
No. Nobody was wearing a mask.
What?
The way Australia is responding to this is far different than America. Like in all of Australia, as of like right now, 108 people have died in all of it.
And that's compared to like over 100,000, I believe, here in the United States. Yeah. Remember, folks out there, I just said a minute ago, the countries are about the same size and probably comparable populations. I don't know that. Right. Google it and argue with me in the chat. But yeah, like it just shows that we're not doing as good of a job as Australia. So honestly, if you say no masks, I'm going to like burn all mine tonight, because I don't know what America's not telling me what to do,
I mean, you can't find information that's aligned, you know what I mean? And that's what makes my sort of situation is pretty fucked, because basically, when I decided to get married, we decided in February. We had a whole plan. We were going to get married at the Fringe this year and do like this like surprise wedding at other comics. Cute. It was going to be really funny. Like we were just going to be like, yes. Yeah, it's going to be great. So we had a lawyer, and we've spoken to the lawyer, and basically the whole way, the steps that I'm supposed to take, the protocol in order for me to start my residency in the UK, pretty much I cannot do. I have to apply for a family permit visa from the United States. I'm not in the United States.
Ugh.
I'm not going back to the United States because if I go to the United States, I cannot fly to the UK or Europe right now because I'm an American tourist. So, but we can fly from Australia. But here's the thing, we're like looking at the UK from here. Like here is bad, but there we're like, well, that's going to be mind blowing. Right now, what money we do have because of the exchange rate, we won't go destitute. Whereas if we were in the UK and unable to make a certain wage, we will go destitute. So we're like watching that, but we have to be there by the end of this year because of Brexit.
God,
so
that is
my life is
nuts.
literally hinged on like Brexit and a virus, which are like synonymous as far as I'm concerned.
Which truly
And
speaks to the people, I feel like all these arguments against like, well, the government doesn't know what to do. It's like, well, some governments do. Some governments are doing fine. And then some have all this red tape that it makes it hard to implement these like totally normal public safety things. Like you should be able to apply online for that thing.
I mean, I
That's
should be able
insane.
to do that from here. I mean, it doesn't make any, and I've read all about Brexit, like, back in January when I was in the UK, my friend's like, what's a Brexit? And I'm like, I have no idea. Now I know what it is. I mean, I've had to like learn a lot, which is like,
Because it's
boo-hoo,
very complicated. It's so
it's very
complicated too.
complicated. And it's really,
Damn.
you look at them, they won't extend it. Like they're refusing to extend their own deadline, which was already ambitious before coronavirus, but is now like people are like, you're crazy. Please concentrate on this like virus. But they're like, no, we're gonna just argue. And so it's like, if we were to kill ourselves and get back to a place where it's potentially going to be worse than we are now, and then not be able to make any money and like go destitute, and then Brexit's extended, I'm gonna lose my mind. And that also puts me in winter for about 15 months. So just
my
like
God.
on like a personal note, I will have not experienced like the sun for 15 months.
I'm gonna like buy you a boat or something just so you can like sail to the UK. Like, because did you hear about this actually? An
No.
Argentinian man sailed a boat to see his dad, like back in Argentina, because he like couldn't get through the red tape. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. Like he just couldn't figure out a way, like seemingly like you can't. There's just like always a
Yeah.
red tape or a roadblock, which is just like, why have we set ourselves up for such extreme failure?
Yeah.
But
I mean, and it's,
shit.
it's all the governments though. Like I don't, I've never been somebody to like think the government is protecting me or cares about me or whatever. And like now more than ever, you're like, yeah, sure, they're handling it differently here, but at the same time, they are very you really see how people change toward you. Like we are the dirty people now, like in where I'm from, even though like I don't have it, but like
Interesting. It's like establishing some sort of classism there because
yeah. I mean,
wow.
they on the news, you can look right now, like it's what's called council housing, which is essentially, I guess, projects. Those people are locked inside. Like they are, and they're doing it to
leave?
test them.
Like they can't leave?
They cannot leave. And you understand that it's like they're doing it so they can test them because you have so many people in one building. I mean, and they are finding that it's spreading. Like what's spreading it is community transmission here, right? As opposed to overseas travel. And that's going to happen in like housing like that, just because you have so many people, everybody's touching the elevator, everybody's walking down the halls, whatever. But like what they've done is they've locked down all these buildings. The number of people that are locked in is stupid, but it's like, who is locked in their house right now are the people who couldn't afford to live in their own residence. You know what I mean? So they're living in council housing and they're like, providing them food or whatever, but they have guards guarding the buildings and they're testing everybody because they want to like, contain it. But it's also like, that's an insane way to live. You're kind of like,
well, I mean, the fact that they're trying to even contain it rather than eradicate just shows that they're like, we'll just corral these animals into a pen and then like kill it over there. And it's like that also, it's almost like that classism is blinding them from like a much smarter route to take, which is eradication on all levels, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because you like look at it and it's just, even with
Wow.
this like outbreak and us being a hot spot, like I'm doing this because I'm just like, whatever. Like I'm not a fucking scientist and I'm,
Yeah. We are
not
not
a government
scientists,
employee.
YouTube. Just so you know, we're not scientists. We're
Yeah.
comedians that are
But
we're smart.
like, the fact like it's like in a way like I'm upset they shut the border because it ruins my personal plan and I've had very little to cling to even like I pretty much last week might have been one of the worst weeks of my life. And
So
like
sorry. Also, your plan's not even that insane. Your plan's to come back. Like what?
yeah.
What? That's not even like a crazy idea. You're just trying to go home, get your stuff, and then leave. Like just like
Right.
yeah.
Well, I can't go home. I don't know when I'll
Oof.
see New York again, but
Damn, man.
I'm trying to go to the UK. And yeah, it's just when you get this message where they're shutting the borders as of midnight tonight, we had to have like this discussion yesterday. Like, are we fleeing today? Like, are we
Wow.
packing? Are we renting a car? Are we going to try to cross the border with
Wow.
everybody else who's going to try to cross the border? And we decided against it, which it's like, so we're trapped here again. It's like you're trapped and then you're trapped again.
Wow.
And I'm losing my mind. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm going to
Well,
be frank,
it's common
yeah.
to be trapped. It's totally fine. It's totally fine to feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trapped in a prison of every day of my life. And like people have said to me, well, think of it this way. People in third world countries are always dealing with something. And I'm like, I hear you. And yeah, if I were to reframe the whole format of like my very privilege and existence of being born in America and having, worked hard to achieve everything and then be kind of reduced to nothing, maybe I could find some fucking peace in that thought. But like, I'm struggling to get there. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
like minute by minute, I'm like, all right, I have hands, so I'm grateful for my hand. Like trying to it's
Yeah,
because
I've
I'm
been doing
not.
that shit too. You
Yeah,
know, I broke my toe like 2 weeks ago and I was like, or not 2 weeks ago, last year around this time. And I remembered I was like, oh yeah, like last year I couldn't like walk. And just like
yeah.
even those privileges, I'm like, just remember that. It makes me feel less trapped. And yeah, I mean, was there anything I wanted to say before I let you go? I know you got to go because you're monitoring the world right now because it's literally on fire. I feel like we're all
Yeah,
that dog in the comic with the holding the cup. It's like, I'm fine,
yeah,
that like little
yeah,
meme. That's us
yeah.
right now. But is there anything you got to just get off your chest or you want to say or like,
Uh, yeah, no. Like, I
no,
mean,
it's
I was
fine.
like thinking about it. It's just like you know, I do a lot of rant. I don't know. Just listen to my fucking podcast. I pretty much do it on there.
Oops.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and which is a great one, by the way. Give it up for Kathryn, everybody. There's
Thank
nobody
you.
here, so it's
Thank you.
just me. But I love you so much. Stay
Yeah,
safe,
love you
and I'll
too,
talk to
man.
you
Thanks for
soon.
having me.
Of course, of course.
Funnier
And
next time.
yes, next time. And
Yeah,
please go follow her. Follow all the things. Follow all her things. I'm supposed to be
cool.
doing something with my mouse.
Have a good show.
Thanks, Kathryn. Bye. Okay. Kathryn. Oh my gosh. What an insane story. I mean, I'm just like, I've been waiting, show, by the way. I've been waiting to talk to Kathryn about what's going on with her. It's just like so much is happening. And so I'm just letting you know I waited for us all to talk about that together. So you're welcome, YouTube audience. There's probably nobody listening. Honestly. What are there, like 3 people out there? 2? 1. Sound off in the comments. Oh, 8. Someone just told me 8. What up, all 8 people? For those of you who know, there's 8 people in my family. So that's hi, Mom. Okay, give it up again for Kathryn if you're out there. Once again, her handle and info should be trailing around the bottom of the screen. Follow her. She's very funny. Support her. And don't forget, you can tip us at the Vivian Show. Like I said, tonight's tips go to the Black Hills Legal Defense Fund to bail out tribal leaders who are protesting the desecration of sacred lands that were stolen from their people. Okay. Are you all ready? Huh? Because as always, we keep it real on the Vivian Show, starring other people, but mostly Vivian. And I want to offer real moments, but also silliness. So I invited a comedian on the show who Not only was a beacon of representation for me in the comedy scene when I stepped on, but literally brings me the most joy. Like, I love him. You've seen him in Out Magazine, Fox's Laughs, and you can hear him on Comedy Dynamics. Let's bring Anthony Desamito onto the show. Clapping alone. It's very strange to be clapping alone.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm wearing a mask because you never know who's just gonna like break your window and start coughing into your house. You know, it's crazy. So I have my Sophia Petrillo mask. Look at her. She's going,
Oh my
whoa.
God. Yes.
You call this a pandemic? Sicily, 1708, Ebola. That's a pandemic. I'm kidding. I don't. The mask isn't tattooed to my face. I was just joking. Hello, everyone. I'm doing stand up from inside my home here in Los Angeles. It is like it's kind of like a John Waters. He's hiding in a bunker, my room. But you guys, you guys were talking about some pretty interesting stuff. Like everyone is, struggling. Is kind of struggling right now with money. I'm having a hard time making ends meet. The ends of penises. I mean, no one wants to touch their penis head with mine, and I'm just, damn it, I can't make ends meet ever. I am it's kind of weird, just seeing everybody walking around with wearing gloves and face masks, So whenever I'm outside, I just imagine that we're all playing cosplay as the Honey Bunches of Oats lady, I run up to people and I go, Honey Bunches of Oats, and they think it's funny, because they like pepper spray me and then they laugh, ha ha ha. It's not like I'm doing my part. I'm not just scaring people, especially Black women. I'm keeping people apart. What I mean? Like at 6 feet, some people aren't staying 6 feet apart. So me and my friend found out that both of our legs are 3 feet long. So what we do is we go put our backs together and we hook arms and we spin each other around and we kick people's chests until they're 6. We go 6 feet, 6 feet, and then and people, they fall into traffic. It's a whole thing, but we're doing our part to prevent people from getting COVID and whatnot. It's who's not. Can I tell you guys a secret? There's a certain group of people who are sneaking out of their houses at night when they shouldn't be and having gay sex during these COVID times. Guess who it is? The gays. Yeah, the gays are. So if you saw like a gay man just kind of crouched over, crawling out of a doggy door, he was going to an orgy. You guys, the gays are like, we've done this before. We had AIDS, like we know we can. We're fine. We got this. we wear protection, you know, like they've been around the block before. They know about COVIDs, if you will. Good for you guys for doing your part in this pandemic. I've been alone with my thoughts. You know, a lot of us have. I've been I don't like to call it being alone with my subconscious. I like to say I'm alone with my subconscious. Yeah. And so just been trying to entertain myself with the most, you know, with going to, you know, like every now and then, every like 2 hours, you know, I like to go and I like to riot, you know, join a riot. And but it's fine. It's like it's not riot. It's not bad if you only steal Snickers ice creams when you're doing a riot. Is that what you call it? Doing a riot? Is it like going Vermonting? Like we're going rioting. Would you like to come rioting with us? Where do you riot? Where do you riot in the summer? LA, of course. So fun. I've been trying to like clean my room since, you know, we have so much downtime and you know, but I've been doing that Marie Kondo tidying up thing. You know, where you touch something and if it sparks joy, you keep it. Just don't touch like electrical sockets. Just don't do those. But no, if you touch it and it sparks joy, you keep it. But the only problem is that I only like to clean my house when I'm rolling on Molly. You know, so, everything sparks joy. I'm like, no, I'm keeping this forever. These old dirty diapers. Not throwing these out. They're from my childhood. You guys didn't keep your diapers from childhood? No? No baby hoarders? No baby hoarders. Don't steal that idea. I'm pitching that to A&E, baby hoarders. It'll be like super cute and sad. So that's how I'm gonna make my money, is doing baby hoarders, stealing EBT cards from the mail. Have you guys been doing that? EBT and the unemployment cards, they're all in the mail. You can just grab them. They're just all there. And, you know, I mean, you should probably, you know, stick to like 10 or else you might get caught. The stimulus checks too, they're everywhere, you know. You can just grab any. That's how it works, right? It's kind of first come first serve situation. So I've been doing a lot of that. It's cool, you know. Like I think that I think COVID was kind of the world saying, yo, you need to like take a vacation, you know. I feel like the world is like right now, the world is like a first year college student that dropped out and is just kind of hanging out, and everyone's paying for his shit. And like, do you want to go to work or look for a job? Oh no, I'm getting unemployment. But I'm gonna go to the beach. I call it a COVIDcation. It's like and I sing that song by I think it's called the Boongles. COVIDcation's all I ever wanted. COVIDcation had to get a cough and die. Oh, I need to work on the ending of that. And then people don't like when I sing that song to them, when I go, honey bunches of oats, and go, COVIDcation's all I ever, and then 3 feet, and then they steal their Snickers ice cream, and so they don't like that at all. And then, or I pop out of a bush. I shouldn't be doing these things to people, like scaring people while we're so vulnerable, or vulnerable. How do you say it? Vulnerable, right? Vulnerable. I pop out of people's bushes and I go dun 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 dun, my corona, and then they laugh because they pepper spray me and go ha 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 ha, and so yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
Oh my god, Anthony.
Thank you.
Okay, bring you on. You want to come talk to me for a second, Carson style?
Yeah.
Come.
Let me walk over to you.
Yeah, walk over here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You all give it up for Anthony. Clap, 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 clap. These are your applauses. I'm only one.
Yay.
But I'm pretty sure, just coming in now from my producer, there are 30,000 people watching this show. Yes, that is correct. 34,000. Oh, wow.
Nice.
We got that Snickers ice cream bump,
Snickers is sponsoring this show.
I wish. Yo, Snickers.
Have you had those?
The ice cream ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my favorite ice cream snack candy. I'm just saying, like I'm not a big ice cream candy person, but those Snicker ones are they're the best ones.
They're the best ones, and they're the original. Now they have like the Twix, the Kit Kat, and then Snickers ice cream just did it completely correct. And Snickers, I do enjoy Snickers, but a Snickers ice cream is just
better.
It's less. How do you say it? Like the caramel, it's not there, and I like it.
It's like easier to eat.
It's almost like a Three Musketeers, got Cinderella. Like if Cinderella had a Three Musketeers in her pocket, and then
when she was poor,
fairy godmother,
like, rags and
ding, and then she pulls out a Snickers ice cream.
I mean, we are just pitching commercials here. Snickers ice cream department. You guys got to call Anthony and me. I'll be the Latina fairy godmother. I'll be like, toss your chanclas. And then you'll be like, oh my God. And then also, look at my Snickers. It turned into a Snickers ice cream bar.
The glass chanclas.
Oh my God. Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Con los glass chanclas.
Cinderella?
Man, one of the other many Disney princess ladies where I was like, I wish she looked like me a little bit. I love that movie, but none of them looked like us. It's just so annoying, right?
I want to make a Hispanic princess that, tell me if this is a good idea or not, but like she's trapped, a princess, a Latina princess trapped in a tower made of tortillas, and her hair is made of beans, and so
so flour tortillas.
The beans, yes, and flour tortillas She throws it down, and then wait, I think that's already done.
Oh my god, that's like the ghetto Rapunzel. It's like,
The
dame las tortillas, peina tortilla. Oh my god, but also tortilla hair, delicious.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I'd be bald. I'd be bald within seconds.
When I was little, this is how we we had to fight for the food because there were so many kids. I would do this as a kid. This is how I turned out to be chubby. I would hide the tortillas under my plate.
That's
Like,
smart because they're the same size.
They're the smartest. Well, the corn ones are the size are hide perfectly under a big plate. And so, you're welcome.
You're welcome, kids out there watching the show.
My stomach.
In my family, they were just like, your older brother needs more, and then like would take our food and then give it to him, and we were like, God dang it! But yeah, he does eat a lot. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, was he tall or big?
He's so tall. He's very tall.
Really?
Tall boy. Tall boy.
Tall boy.
He's a tall boy. I've noticed you lost a little weight.
I have been depressed. No,
Are you trying to have a Kumail moment when you come out and you're like, look at me now?
Is that
trying
what
to have that Kumail moment? Well, right. He was like secretly getting jacked, and then all of a sudden he was like selfie, and everyone was like, what the?
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. He was like a chunky.
I remember that.
All of a sudden he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chris,
well, I mean, he was beautiful before, but now he's like chiseled Marvel man action figure guy.
No, I'm still fat. I just when I lose weight, I lose it from my face first. Like, because like gravity just works like
that is how weight loss works. Yes.
Yeah.
Puddling.
So I still have like stomach fat, like it's still there. And I like cut down on drinking a lot. Because I was well, like I am prone for diabetes. I have diabetes too. So because of coronavirus, I was getting really afraid that if I get coronavirus, that I could be susceptible to, like falling ill. And so I just started like taking care of myself because I don't want to die.
Yeah, there's only one of you, so please take care of it. Because I would like to see Anthony around again. Have you on the show for real?
Yeah.
Not bound by virtual restrictions. Also, I just want to say really quickly, people out there, my neighbors, not only is one of them learning how to DJ, they walk up and down the stairs very loudly. So if you hear some banging, I apologize. I don't own the building.
I hear nothing, but all I want to do now is hear this person pace back and forth and mutter about DJing.
Oh, there's a lot of hooks just over and what was it the other day? It was like doom 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 doom. I was like, ah. So what I did is I put on Fuck the Police by NWA on repeat, like really loud, and put the speakers against the wall. And then I just went and did something else in the other room because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
That's amazing.
Yeah, some sonic warfare happened.
I know. Well, I went on a date with a DJ recently, and not recently. Like I said, the gays are going out. The gays are going out. They don't care. I'm like,
Mañosos.
I think the gays are like already got coronavirus because like, did you see any gays dying? No, like they all like.
Honestly, I think it's the same for Latinos. Everyone's like, well, I haven't seen any Latinos die, and I'm like, well, actually, like I think, well, that might also be because like, I have no idea honestly. But before I let you go, I wanted to Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up or mention? Do you have anything coming up?
I have a virtual show on Thursday.
Hey.
And
Cool.
then I'm going to be sleeping more.
Good. And I'll send you a link for this, like the video games that I'm playing. So maybe I'll see you online more.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Okay, y'all. Give it up for Anthony Desamito. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much, Anthony. Really, I needed that.
All right. Do I?
But what was I gonna say? Oh, please follow Anthony. Please follow him. Please follow his work. We're gonna put his handle here on the screen at some point. But it's time to get serious, guys. It's time to get serious again. I warned you. I know. But honestly, what we really need to do is recognize the fact that even being able to take a break from all this, and I hope we did give you a little bit of a break from reality, but those breaks are a privilege. I know it's a lot, but that doesn't mean you can't digest it in small pieces. The way I do is to focus locally, go from macro to micro, whatever that means for you in your community, whether it's virtual or IRL. Go micro. For me, it's easy to hone in on my community because I still live in Los Angeles where I grew up. I want to say quickly, if you are not from here, but work here or have ever claimed any LA as part of your identity, please start paying attention to local politics because Compton doesn't have clean water right now. Today, this is live. They do not have clean water right now. They haven't had it since June 21st. If it gets any worse, it'll spread to Carson, where my abuelitos live, which means they won't have clean water to drink. So people who moved here, when you vote like your abuelita might not have clean water tomorrow, because that is the reality for many of us. Like I mentioned before, in the week since I edited this, 3 more people have died at the hands of the police. Since last month, I mean, at this point, do numbers mean anything to us? I feel numb. We all feel numb. But those numbers are people. 1,500 more kids have gone missing from ICE for a total of 3,000. And if you can't guess where they are, you need to Google Epstein. Indigenous women are still missing. Reservations are not being given proper COVID-19 care. There was a little boy who was shot yesterday at a mall. Last month, an 8-year-old autistic boy was shot over 10 times and killed by the cops. And he was white. Elijah McClain was murdered by the police, who then made fun of him at the location where they shot and killed him. Billionaires are still making money enough to end homelessness in the world right now, while my community of peers are wondering if comedy and entertainment can ever be the same. Not to mention the resurgence of the Me Too movement in the comedy scene. Those of you who know. Thank you to the women who are speaking up, by the way. I see you and I hear you. And I will work to make this community a safer one for us all. If you want to follow the hashtag How's Your Abuelita for more info on my effort to do that, please do so. That's hashtag How's Your Abuelita. It's on my Facebook, whatever, but it's not part of the show. That's just me personally. But I thought I'd mention it since this is the stripped down version. I know this is a lot, but taking a break from this is a privilege. Now I'd like to take time and give space to honor the memory of fathers, mothers, children, people who've lost their lives at the hands of the police. To name a few, Tete Gully, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Dominique Fields, Philando Castile, the Mr. Rogers with dreads. That's what they called him. We watched him die in front of his little girl, in front of his family, live on Facebook at the hands of a cop who was acquitted. To all the others who have lost their lives and or experienced brutality and racism firsthand, whether it's from the cops or people in power, I see you. And I am with you. Somos juntos. If you aren't recognizing this pattern, you need to. We got to do better to stop this cycle. We got to do better. We need to do better so those who are still alive can take a break from the fight, and the dearly departed whose lives were cut too short can rest in power. Part of doing better is educating ourselves, especially about our local history. This is a lot, I know. Go local. Like I said before, if you know your LA history, you should already have recognized this real serious pattern, and it should worry you. But I'll go over it with y'all to the sounds of sirens in the background. It usually starts with an innocent person being brutalized. In August 1965, and I'm going to read this part directly from Wikipedia, Marquette Fry, an African-American motorist, was pulled over. They were on parole for robbery. They were pulled over for reckless driving, probably while being Black. A minor roadside argument broke out, which then escalated into a fight with the police. Community members reported that the police had hurt a pregnant woman. 6 days of civil unrest followed. Sound familiar? Rodney King was pulled over for a minor traffic infraction, then almost beaten to death by police in Los Angeles in 1991. Soon after, the life of ninth grader and straight A student Latasha Harlins was taken from us. In both cases, the community tried to prosecute the criminals and the system failed them. No jail time served, no cops reprimanded, nothing. Nothing. Each time the community asked for peaceful solutions and the LAPD and the mayor ignored them. This is part of what led to the Watts Rebellion in '65 and the LA '92 uprising. And now this. I use those terms correctly, by the way, because they're often deemed riots, but we're far more than that. They don't show the peaceful protesting now, and they didn't show it then. There were so many peaceful protests in 1992. One was even led by frickin' Edward James Olmos. Yeah. It was the cops who let our city burn. And you need to realize that. So in the words of Captain Adama, this has all happened before and it will all happen again unless we change it. It's time to stop kidding ourselves that it's not going to happen again. I mean, it's going to. So we need to change. And I mean real change, not selfies with change. I need this information to bind itself to you. It needs to change you. I know it's a lot, but you are strong. Don't be fooled. Educate yourself. Question who's feeding you what information and what they have to gain from that narrative. Question everything, but keep it kosher. Keep it respectful. I did. I had to. I was fooled. I was one of those kids who watched my city burn on the evening news, swallowing whatever KTLA spewed out to get ratings. Maybe it wasn't my fault, but I was wrong. Then I was ashamed, and then I learned and grew. Don't let them fool you. I need you to understand that if you always swallow what you are given, you are going to end up being nulled by this poison. Speaking of, I even made some little infographics on what you can do if you still feel overwhelmed and helpless. It's okay. I got you. I think we can show them on the screen now. Here's graphic number 1, which I just realized that I can't see on my own computer. Is it over there? Nope. Okay. Hold on one second. Graphic 1 is on my desktop somewhere. So basically it says, what do you do now? What do you do now? Are you overwhelmed? There's resources you can look up. Hold on a second. Hold on, everybody. This is a live show. Just wait a damn tick. I'm going to open up the graphic. Also, I've made these lists local to Los Angeles. So if you guys need national information, go ahead and go to, I think 311.gov gives all these numbers out. Shoo-ba-dee-doo-boo-ba-doo. Where's this stupid thing? I know on the first page is pbresources.com, which is an amazing website if you have not been there yet. Here it is. That's pb-resources.com. It is a great starting point. Not only is this a really easy website to use, it's fluid, it's user-friendly, but it was coded entirely by a little Black girl. Yes, she's young, she codes, she is legendary already. Please go to her website. Please support her and hire her if you are an engineer. She made the whole website herself. And that's just a starting point. That's on a national level. I think, like I said before, you've got to keep educating yourself by reading BIPOC Voices. Might I recommend Kindred by Octavia Butler as a start. It's one of my favorite books. You can also need to start getting involved locally. Like I said, macro to micro. Vote and get involved in all your local elections. Please, 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 please. You can go to vote11.org and find out all that information there. Or join a local protest if you can. Just go to aclu.org and learn ways to stay safe while you're protesting. Okay. Now, we can go to the next infographic, which is more specifically about supporting BIPOC people. How do you do that? What do I do? How do I support them? Just support their dreams. Buy from them. Donate to them. Support their art. Go to their restaurant. Subscribe to their page. Like their stuff. Listen to them. Just make sure not to support those who would oppress them. For example, the police. I've also, in the third one, included some numbers that you guys can call that are not the police. Once again, this is Los Angeles only. If you're looking for national numbers, please go online. I've also included in this infographic just a little information on mental health resources, including the Warm Line, which is a really, really great resource. I've called the Warm Line. They're open from 10 to 6. Someone will pick up the phone and they'll say hi to you. It's really, really nice. All right. Once again, if you'd like to tip the show, please do so. We'll be sending money to the Black Hills Legal Defense Fund. We'll show all the infographics again at the end. I want to end this episode X with a quote from my papa's high school electronics teacher. You can rise from this. Mr. Marks was an African-American man who was not allowed on the field in World War II. So he instead learned Morse code and decided to teach it to kids at poor schools in Carson, like my papa. Defund the police. Black Lives Matter. Trans people are people. Question everything. We will rise from this. Save our Native and Indigenous women. Somos juntos. Me voy a poner una versión de eso en español en YouTube soon. Gracias.